Hey nerds, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Confessions of a Nerdy Bible College Student. I'm your host, Luc Reed, and I have a show for you. There was actually a very interesting development this past weekend that was very unexpected. But before I get into that, just gonna go along with the usual setup of talking about what I've been nerding out about this past week. So, I've been doing a lot of different things. Between last week and this week, I still don't have anyone on the show with me yet, but working on that. Eventually there'll be some other people. I've been having people listen to my podcast so they can support it and listen and potentially want to be involved in it, so that's good. I finished Assassin's Creed Unity, for the most part. I still have to do I don't have to, but I want to work through the DLC, Dead Kings, whatever it is. So I still have that, but other than that, I have finished, the game. I platinumed it, so that was actually really big because I haven't platinumed an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 2, and I actually platinumed that game twice because I lost the data on it originally on my PlayStation 3, so yeah, I went through and did it again because I loved Assassin's Creed 2 so much. I actually was talking to a guy while I was playing, and he was saying that he loved Assassin's Creed 2. And I was saying, well, yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 was a great game, but I think, and this might be a little bit controversial, I think Brotherhood was a little bit better because they kind of took what Assassin's Creed 2 did and expanded on it, and it was really good. And then another controversial thing, Revelations was good too because, it finished up Ezio's story and we got to finish that up. So I thought both of those games were really good, as well as 2. The entire Ezio collection was really good. So yeah. So I finished Unity. Been watching a couple things. I finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yes, I did binge through the rest of it. It was on episode 9 of 21, 22, something like that, and I watched through the rest of it in a couple days because it's such a good show. It's my favorite show, so it was really good. Other than that, I haven't really been watching shows. I need to get back into Sherlock, but I need to have the time for that because there's 3 new episodes on Netflix, and they're each an hour, so it's like watching a 3-hour movie. So gotta get some time to do that. Maybe I'll do that later tonight after everything. I watched The Martian for the first time, which was really, really cool. It was suggested to me, and it was on Netflix. It had been on my list for a while, and I just hadn't gotten around to it, but finally watched it, and it was excellent. It was very, very good. Very, very well done. I really enjoyed it. I also watched Morgan. I saw that it was also on Netflix, and I remember a year ago, I was really interested in it. I really wanted to see it because it sounded really, really interesting. And I finally watched it, and it was not what I expected at all. I was expecting a horror type movie, and it was not a horror movie. Not really. I mean, there was a little bit of that, a couple elements. I kind of guessed at how it was going to end, just because of some things that they kind of left a little open. There were some things that were said and things that were done. The way things happened, it just kind of set up for the ending. So I guessed at what was going to happen, and it did. But it was good. It was very sci-fi, very nerdy if you're into that kind of stuff. And if you like action sci-fi type movies, then yeah, I would definitely suggest looking into that one. It's kind of weird, but it's good. It's a good movie. This last week I spent some time with my new friends. These are the friends that I was talking about that I sent them a link to the SoundCloud website so they could check out the podcasts and maybe they would want to get involved. But I've been spending time with them. They're coworkers, so we do work, and then it's nice to hang outside of work as well. So we've been hanging out a little bit. The other night we went after work and got some bubble tea, which is amazing. There's like a bubble tea shop like a couple stores down from the center where we work. And I finally figured out, so I had this problem there. I wanted to order bubble tea, but I didn't want the like tapioca bubbles because I've had them before and I didn't think they were very good. I thought they were kind of weird. So I wanted like the fruit juice bubbles, and they told me they didn't have that. They just had the tapioca bubbles, but it's because of the specific name. So I found out the other night that they're called frubles. So combination of fruit and bubbles. Yeah. I should have seen that, but the menu is confusing, and so I didn't understand, but I finally did. I've understood that that's what I was going after, and so I got, I think it was a peach tea. They had this interesting thing where they would make you a tea, and then if you wanted like a juice of some sort in the tea, they called it an iceberg. They would take the juice, mix it with ice, and then like put it in a blender, like shred it up, and then they'd put it on top. They called it an iceberg, and they put that on top, and then you have your bubbles. And I think it was I got the strawberry frubles, they were called. I was thinking maybe they were called jellies because that was on the menu, but those are basically like, it's like a combination of the inside of a Mike and Ike and Jello. I mean, it's good. It's kind of weird, but it's good, and it tastes good. And if you like tea, then you'd probably like it. And then I was thinking maybe it was jelly glass, but that's basically just like square things of Jello. So I haven't tried that yet, but I'm sure it's good, probably. I'll have to try it sometime. But I got my fruit bubbles, my frubles, so that made me happy. I was very, very happy to have that finally. So that was nice. And then after we went and got bubble tea, we went over to McDonald's because they were having this special deals. Like, there were a few sandwiches where you could get them for $2. So we went and did that, and we just hung out for a couple hours, and we talked about memes because one of them wasn't really all that familiar with what memes were, so got into a big conversation about that, and it was interesting, it was fun. Last thing that I did that was kind of nerdy that deserves a little bit of recognition was it's kind of part of my job as an intern, but I preached this past Sunday. I have it set up where I'm preaching every about month at this Nazarene church, and so I preached over there yesterday, and it was a good sermon. I think it was difficult. It was super difficult. I was doing it on Acts, and I was picking up where the pastor of the church had kind of left off, and that's usually difficult, but then the passage itself was very difficult, I thought. Basically because it was a section in Acts where Paul is preaching a sermon. So I was basically preaching a sermon on a sermon. So it was difficult, but I did the best that I could, and I think I did well. I got a lot of praise, which, I obviously gave to God, because, it wasn't me up there, it was all him, because he's the one that has given me these gifts and abilities, and he gave me what to say. There was a lot of it that I was just like, I have no idea. It was one of those things where I was so focused on it. I spent like an entire day focused on this sermon, and I just could not figure it out. I spent the whole workday just trying to focus on the sermon, try to get something out of it, and it just was a real struggle. So I kind of let it sit for a little while, and then I went back to it, and it just, boom, just came to me very, very naturally. So that was good. And one thing that one lady said that was really nice, she was saying that she liked how I presented it, because what I did was I would read a little bit of the scripture passage. I think it was Acts chapter 13, and I went verses 16 to 31. So a lot of stuff going on in there. And so basically I broke it down like every few verses or so. And, I'd read a little bit, and then I'd go into, this is what Paul is saying, this is what he's talking about, this is why he's talking about it, etc., etc., etc. So it was one lady who was saying that she really, really liked that. And she said she liked it because, she's read the Bible numerous times. I think she said she's reading it through her 6th time, like all the way through the 6th time. And so she was saying that she didn't always understand everything that she read, so she liked the fact that I would take it, read through it, and then after that give it some context, give it a little bit more than just what the verse said. So she liked that, and a lot of other people were saying that I did well, and they liked what I had to say. So I was very thankful, and I was very glad for the opportunity, and there'll be more opportunities this summer, so hopefully I'll be able to do very well, and be able to preach to people what they need to hear, and preach what God wants me to say, and everything. So yeah, that's what I've been nerding out about for the most part. There's one last thing that I've been nerding out about. So last week I mentioned how this week I was going to kind of talk about E3, because I was under the impression that it started tomorrow. I thought that E3... I looked it up on this website, and it said that the dates were tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So the information I was given was false. And this is going to be the topic of the show. We're going to talk about E3, because it actually started on Saturday. And I totally missed it because I was given the wrong days. Saturday I was like, I should check and see, what is playing when, just so I have a good idea. And the website's basically like, oh yeah, the EA press conference happened today. And I was like, what? The EA press conference happened today? What? So I searched up on YouTube just a quick recap, highlight type thing for that. And I was able to find a quick video, and it showed some cool things, but the biggest thing by far for that press conference was Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to look up that section of the press conference. So I found it, and it was incredible. I am so excited for that game. I was really considering pre-ordering it early on in the day, and then after that, I pre-ordered the original. the first one that came out in 2015 by EA, and it was a good game. It had its problems. It only came with like 4 or 5 planets, if that, and there wasn't a lot to it when it came out, but you get the season pass. I got the season pass the night that I went and got it. It was my first time going to a midnight release type thing, so I went to that, and when I was there, I was like, I should just get the season pass just so I have it. And so I got it, and it was like $50 extra, so totally crazy, but I figured that this way I can have everything that's going to come out, and I'm totally good for it. So I did that, and I'm thankful that I did all of that, because it was a great experience going to a midnight release. It was a great game. I still play every once in a while. I actually was playing Saturday with Liam, my brother, and because he just got a PlayStation 4 and he got Battlefront so that he and I could play together. That was one of the reasons he got that. He also got Paragon so that he and I could play together. Of course, that one's free, so But anyway, yeah, it's a great game, and the sequel looks 10 times better, especially because whether or not you've watched it, I would definitely suggest you go and watch it. But they actually, what the EA team did was they took the best EA Star Wars Battlefront players in the world, and they were like, how can we make the sequel better? And these guys went through and they made the game better. It looks so good. It looks so incredible. I'm so jazzed and excited, and the fact that all of you don't need to buy a season pass. All of the extra content that's gonna come out is gonna be completely free, which is so cool. I cannot believe that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be. I'm so excited for that game, especially. So, yeah, that got me really excited. They also... No, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yesterday... because I preached... let me back up. So, Saturday night, I had the hardest time sleeping. It was very difficult to get to sleep. And I don't know if it was because I was preaching or what was going on, but I had a very hard time getting to sleep. So I only got about 3 hours of sleep. So I was really tired yesterday afternoon. And after church, after my sermon and everything, the pastor took me out with him and his family, and we went to this Chinese buffet. So I ate a lot, and so I got full. So I was full, and I was tired, so I was like, I'm just going to lay down and go to bed for the afternoon. So I took a nap. I slept for a few hours. And then there was other stuff going on here, so I did that. And then I was like, I should check and see what's going on with E3. And so it was the Microsoft press conference, and, it was a Microsoft press conference. I wasn't that interested because, if you know me at all, I'm a Sony guy. I like the PlayStation, so that's my thing. So the fact that it was Microsoft press conference, it's just like, whatever. But, I looked up the highlights again, and, it was interesting to see that they came out and announced what Project Scorpio is, finally. So, we know what that is now. It's the Xbox One X. So creative. But, I suppose it's impressive. I don't like the design of that box, honestly. And this is one of the reasons why I wish there was someone else on the show, because I could talk to someone else about this stuff, and especially if it was someone who was into Microsoft, into Xbox, and watched the Microsoft press conference and everything. That would be really, really interesting to get that back and forth. So, but anyway, yeah, they did that. They showed off some stuff for Assassin's Creed Origins, which is the next Assassin's Creed game, and it looks amazing. I got so excited for that. I want so bad. It looks so good. So, yeah, excited for that. They showed off Middle-earth: Shadow of War, which, oh my goodness, the first game, Shadow of Mordor, was so good, but this game, taking it up a notch. It looks so good. I'm so excited. There are so many reasons to be excited this fall. Like, so many things are coming out. I remember a few years ago, there was this thing they called November, the month of the empty wallet, because you spent so many money on games in November. Well, now it's October. I noticed this either last year or the year before. Everything comes out in October now for some reason, but, whatever. So, everything's coming out in October, and I'm so excited for all the things that are going to come out. So I missed the Microsoft press conference, but I was actually able to catch the Bethesda press conference, and that was interesting. They showed a lot of different things. They just showed a lot of things that we've already seen. They were showing off Elder Scrolls stuff and Fallout stuff. Nothing really too original stood out. There were a few things that were kind of unique, whatever, and expansive stuff, but it wasn't too much. The Evil Within 2 was probably the biggest thing, because I was kind of watching the pre-show a little bit, and they were speculating that it was going to come out, and I haven't played the original Evil Within, so I don't know. I can't really comment on it, but it looks kind of terrifying. I don't know if it is, I hadn't watched the gameplay or anything for it before, but I had seen the game, at game stores and stuff for a while, and it was interesting. It looked interesting. It kind of reminded me of Until Dawn, which is a game that I purchased recently within this past year, and so I was thinking it was something like that, but apparently it's something else, and it looks terrifying. I don't know if I'll ever actually get into that series, but so yeah, Bethesda did their thing, and they did good. It was a good show, but it was definitely directed more towards people who are more Bethesda oriented. They confirmed the Switch, and that was actually really cool. Having Skyrim on the Switch, really, really cool. Especially with, you can put they showed putting Link, his amiibo, on the Switch, and being able to, that makes it so that there's a chest in Skyrim. You open it up, it's a chest that looks very, very Legend of Zelda, and you open it and you can get the Legend of Zelda gear, Link's gear, the costume and the armor and the Master Sword, the shield, everything. So that was really cool. That was a cool moment. That was one cool moment that I saw. So maybe if and when I get a Switch, I might get Skyrim for it, just because that would be really, really cool. And I didn't get very far into Skyrim when I played it originally, so it would be good to get that and get into it. I've been thinking about getting the special edition for a while, but I just kind of am waiting till it goes really on sale, if I do end up deciding to get it. Or I'll just wait and get it on the Switch. One of the two. Something will happen. So, there was that. While I was preparing for today's show, I was watching the Ubisoft press conference because that was on, and so, yeah, that was really great. The Ubisoft press conference was really, really great. I think that was probably the thing that I was most excited about. They got some really awesome things coming. I watched a little bit of the pre-show too, so I was able to kind of see what people are thinking going into the Ubisoft press conference. And there was the Rabbids Mario crossover game that they were speculating about, and as it turns out, they showed it off, and they had I think his name's Miyamoto, the big Nintendo guy. I'm gonna sound like such a idiot, but yeah, he came up on stage. I know his face. I can't remember his name. I think it's Miyamoto, but I could be wrong. Anyway, came up on stage, showed that off. It looks really cool. I've never actually played a Rabbids game ever, my entire life. Never played one of them. They kind of interested me a little bit. They seem kind of funny and quirky, whatever, but never really caught my attention enough for me to purchase a game. So, but this actually looks really good. I think the gameplay of it looks really unique and interesting, and yeah, it caught my attention. It looks really good. They showed off Assassin's Creed a little bit again, and they showed it off with Microsoft, so they didn't want to beat a dead horse, but they were showing off a little bit of stuff for it. So there's that, and yeah, lots of new stuff. The Skull and Bones, man, that looks really cool. Like, the team that did Assassin's Creed Black Flag was like, let's make a pirate game, and it looks so good. It looks so good. Like, I played Black Flag last summer, and it was incredible. It made me feel like a pirate, and it was such a good game. I loved it to death. So, the fact that this company is making like an actual like standalone pirate game, that got me excited. I wanted to sign up for the beta. I tried to before I started recording, and it didn't want to work. So I don't know if it's just like so crowded right now with people signing up because they're watching E3 and they're like, that looks awesome, I want to get in on that. So I don't know. I'll have to check it out later, and maybe I'll be able to sign up for the beta, play that for a little bit. So we'll see. That would be really cool. It'd be really cool to check that out. Lots of other new games, new IPs, and just so many new things. Like, I was very excited for a lot of it. Like, it was a really good show. There were a few things here and there. It was just like, there was the Crew 2, which was just like, whatever, it's the Crew, there's that fan base, I guess. So there would be certain people interested in that, and there was something about Steep, again, fan base, specific fan base. Just Dance, another Just Dance game. They came out and showed that off, and again, certain specific fan base. There were a couple other games that looked kind of interesting. There was one space game which looked very, very interesting, but it looked like there were like toys that went along with it, so that makes me think, am I gonna have to buy this game and then like a bunch of these figures, like amiibos kind of thing? So I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of the idea of, having to buy a game and a whole bunch of extra accessories for that game if you want to play a certain way. Like, I don't know, that just, to me, is just not very cool or professional or anything. You know, I could be wrong. It could be like you get everything with the game. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But then there's this one game right at the end, caught my interest, especially because I had kind of heard of the name of the original game, but I didn't know anything about it, so I looked it up. And originally it came out on the PlayStation 2 back like 15 or so years ago. Beyond Good and Evil. Some people might have played that. I did not. But it got me interested. The trailer for this new game, Beyond Good and Evil 2, the sequel looks really interesting, and I'm kind of interested to see what they'll do as far as the original game, just because apparently it's a prequel. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a prequel, so, I mean, you know, you're not really missing anything, but you know how there's those things, like, if you played the original and then you go back into you play, like, the sequel that's a prequel, and you notice all these little things, you know. For me, since I didn't play the original, I won't notice those things. It'll be, like me and many others, it'll be totally fresh and new, and, you know, so, I don't know. I am interested, so maybe I'll pick that up eventually and play that. So, yeah, Ubisoft's press conference, it was really good, really solid. It got me really excited. You know, that's one of the things about E3, though. Like, I think it's meant to get you excited, and it always gets me really, really excited. I'm always really excited when I see all the new games, and yeah, so it's good to talk about. So I just wish that I had someone with me to kind of have, like, to talk about things with and everything. That's why hopefully when I get settled and have my own place and I develop more friendships, I'll be able to kind of host a E3 party for, like, gamer friends. One friend actually suggested doing something online, which I hadn't thought of, but, you know, maybe I'll do that next year, just because I wasn't really prepared this year for it. You know, I kind of didn't even know that it was happening, and then I thought it was starting tomorrow, but no, tomorrow it's basically done. I think Nintendo's doing something tomorrow. Yeah, Nintendo's doing something tomorrow in the morning. So, there's that, but other than that, like, you know, it's pretty much done. So, if I had started tomorrow, then I would have missed everything. But, oh yeah, and they said something about the Space Monkey program for Beyond Good and Evil 2. That sounded interesting. I might have to check that out as well as the Skull and Bones beta. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, except the Sony press conference is going to start up pretty soon, in the next couple hours, I think, or so. And, oh yeah, and they showed off Far Cry 5. Oh, and Wolfenstein. That's right. Yeah. I have the like, pre-show and everything playing kind of in the background, so so that brings up some other things that are interesting. Yeah, I think it was Bethesda last night brought up Wolfenstein. That actually looked really good. That got me excited. I still haven't played, like, any of the Wolfenstein games, so I definitely need to do that. And then Ubisoft brought up Far Cry 5. That looks interesting-ish. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I've had conversations with my friend and coworker Michael, and he's not excited for it just because he feels like the whole Christian cult thing has been kind of beaten to death. it's in everything. It's in games, it's in movies, TV shows, like, it's in everything. So, it's not something you would see really too much of with other groups, but, it's taken a lot from Christians, so, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I might not play it just because I have never really gotten into Far Cry. I've never really played Far Cry, so it's not really that big or important to me, so I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, Sony press conference. Really excited for that. It's coming on soon. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I think it starts at 8 my time. Probably be 9 at Eastern time and 10 Atlantic time. Because it starts 6 Pacific time, and I'm Central time, and there's a 2-hour difference between Pacific and Central time, so it's not going to start till about 8 for me, and it's 5, so I got like 3 hours before it starts, but I'm super excited for it. There's a lot of things I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see more of the Spider-Man game that they announced last year, because Spider-Man's my favorite, so I'm really excited to see what they do, if they show anything about that. I hope Sucker Punch shows off something, just because we haven't really heard a lot. Like, people were speculating that maybe Sucker Punch was working on the new superhero game, the Spider-Man game, but no, it was Insomniac, so, I just want to see what Sucker Punch has been up to. Maybe a new Infamous game. That would be nice. I love the Infamous games. I've platinumed every single one. Really great game. So, if Sucker Punch has something, that would be fantastic. I'd be excited to see that. And then more Spider-Man. I said that already, but yeah, more Spider-Man. Goodness, they've shown off so many things already. I don't know. God of War, maybe? Because that's a PlayStation. I just want to see more exclusives, honestly, because I love PlayStation. So I want to see more things that are exclusive for PlayStation, more things that are along the lines of things that I like and things that I'll play. So, I guess that's probably what everyone hopes for, but definitely for Sony's press conference, I'm hoping that there's some good things, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for us. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I've seen so many cool things, and I know there'll be more things today with the Sony press conference, and then tomorrow Nintendo's doing some more stuff, so that'll be interesting to see, especially since they have the Switch out. So, hopefully some new games for that. I don't have that yet. I don't have a Switch, but I hope to eventually get one. So, like I was saying earlier with Skyrim, yeah, so hopefully eventually I'll get a Switch, and I'm hoping to see more cool things for that. I'm curious to see if they're going to talk at all about whether they're going to keep doing like DS, 3DS stuff, or if, the Switch is going to be it, like that's going to be their main thing, because it is both, it's both console and handheld, so I don't really think that you need anything else. I don't think you need the DS anymore. It's kind of outdated, I guess. Compared to the Switch, so it's not really necessary to have anything else. So that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. Thanks so much for listening. Just a reminder, please go look for us on the social medias. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Go find us and like our pages, and leave some comments and thoughts and opinions, and we can talk about them on the show. I would love to see more people being engaged with the show and being engaged with us on social media and making it so that we could have a bigger community and have more discussion going on. Just want to reiterate, as I do most times at the end of the show, that this podcast is a product of me. It's not a product of my school, of Kingswood University. It's not a product of anyone or anything but me. It's all my idea. It's an independent project that I've been working on for a long time, and so, as I work on it and work in my career and, become a leader in the church, I hope that this will be something that people will enjoy and more people will be involved in. And yeah, so next week, I don't know what we'll be talking about, but we'll probably talk about something. Maybe a little bit about the Sony press conference, because that'll have been out. There might be some other stuff. Maybe have a guest or somebody. I don't know. We'll see. We'll wait and see. I can't promise anything right now because everything's just kind of up in the air. But yeah, I'll see you next week. And until then, I'm Luc Reed, and this is CNBCS. Stay nerdy, dive into the Word, and have a blessed week. Thank you.